it could be bad fuel. I mean, it's possible it's bad fuel. Very unusual that that would happen.
I mean, you don't think there was like foul play or anything?
No, I don't think so. No, they think it might be bad fuel. We're going to find out. Nothing to hide. We'll find out.
Sir, has there been a snag in terms of the South Korea trade talks? Is that how is that?
No, I don't think so, Scott. Is there?
No, there's just a lot of details to work out. It's a very complicated deal, and I think we're very close.
Do you expect to finalize that on Wednesday, or will it maybe not quite be done?
I think not quite, but I think the overall framework is done. We're just getting crossing the T's, dotting the I's. That's what Ambassador Greer's team does, and nobody's better at it than they are.
Mr. President,
You want to say something?
Sure. So with the Korea deal, there are a few parts to this. There's some national security related issues which are really not in my wheelhouse. Then we have some pure trade issues where they've had some non-tariff barriers to us for a long time, and we've resolved a lot of those. So that's great. And then there's another piece which is really about investment going forward. The Koreans have a great plan to invest in U.S. shipbuilding, even more than they've already done it. And so they're talking right now, frankly, about how to implement Korean investment in the United States in the best way to make sure that we're...
And especially toward shipbuilding. We're very much involved in getting the shipbuilding going again, which really we should have never lost. Years ago, they lost that. Many decades ago. But we were number one. We'll be either number one or right up around them. China's making a lot of ships. I take my hat off to them. Now, they wouldn't if we had that situation where we charged essentially a fee, but we're not looking to hurt their shipbuilding industry.
Mr. President, are you concerned
have the Koreans asked for any visa guarantees after that immigration raid?
No, but you know how I feel. I was very much opposed. Look, when they come in and they're making very complex machinery, equipment, things, they're going to have to bring some people in, at least at the initial phase. In that case, it was batteries. Batteries are very complex, and they're actually very dangerous to make. You can't just pick people off an unemployment line and say, we just, opened up a $2 billion battery factory. So we've got an understanding. And this is with the world. By the way, this is not just with South Korea. This is, when they come into our country, we have a lot of factories being built by foreign interests. When they come in, some of these factories make very, very complex, very highly sophisticated equipment. They've got to bring people in with them for a period of time. They'll teach our people how to do it, but even for a fairly long period of time, they're going to need expertise to be successful. And we're going to let people know, I'm letting them know right now, that when they come into our country, we can expect to see them bring in with them some very talented people that have been doing it for many years. They'll teach our people how to do it. Our people will be just as good as they are within a period of time, and it'll be a phase out. But we want them to bring in experts, and that's the way it is.
Mr. President, what visa would they come under, and how long would
We're going to have that set. We're doing a whole new plan for that. But what you can't expect, let's say they come in, for instance, we have massive number of ship companies, in particular one, the biggest by far, the biggest in the world, coming in. You can't expect them to make unbelievably complex chips and computers and other things and pick people off the unemployment line that haven't worked in 5 years. But we're going to, so I want them to come in with talented people, and they're going to, it'll be a phase out, a slow phase out.
Did I hear you right that you said you were opposed to the way that raid in Georgia was handled?
I was opposed to getting them out. And in fact, before they got out, they were pretty well set. But before they got out, I said they could stay. They went, they left, and they're going to be coming back.
Right. Did you see the results from the Argentina election? It looks like Milei's party.
Wow, what a great question that is. I love that question because that was a big win. In Argentina, I want to congratulate the victor, and he was a big victor, and he had a lot of help from us. He had a lot of help. I gave him an endorsement, very strong endorsement, and it was really unexpected to have a victory of that. Some people thought it would be hard to win, and not only did he won by a lot. So Argentina, that was a great thing, and I give Scott and I give James and everybody, Marco, a lot of credit for that because, we are sticking with a lot of the countries in South America. We're focused very much on South America, and we're getting a real strong handle on South America in a lot of ways, including the fact that we don't want their drugs. We don't want drugs coming into our country, and you're seeing that. going to take care of. Look, we're going to take care of our ranchers one way. That we have two situations. The ranchers for 35 years have done very poorly. The cattle people, they've done very, very poorly, and now they're doing well, but the price is up. So what I can see happening is we're going to take some beef because I have to get the price down. I want to get most prices are down. If you look at energy and all the, I have things down, but beef is high, and the cattle ranchers are doing good. They backed me from day one. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that they don't get hurt, but we have to also make sure that I get the prices down. I want to get the prices down like I did with eggs, like I did with lots of others. We had a couple of them where when I first took over, eggs were double and quadruple what they were. That was Biden's fault. A lot of this is Biden's fault too. And we're going to get the price of beef down, and I'm going to make sure the cattle ranchers don't get hurt.
Mr. President, you talked about North Korea on your way here. Have you heard anything back from
I haven't mentioned it. I haven't said anything, but I'd love to meet with him if he'd like to meet. I got along great with Kim Jong Un. I liked him. He liked me. If he wants to meet, I'll be in South Korea.
Would you extend your trip in order to try to meet?
Say it.
Would you extend your trip in Asia in order to meet with him?
Well, I hadn't thought of it, but I think the answer would be yeah, I would do that, sure.
And when you
It's our last stop,
when
so it's pretty easy to do. Yeah, I would do that.
when you do meet with him, sir,
With Kim Jong Un?
yes, what does the U.S. have
Well,
to
I
offer
didn't say I
him?
was meeting with him, but if he'd like to meet him around, I'll be in South Korea, so I could be right over there. Well,
What could the U.S. offer him at this point?
well, we have sanctions. Well, that's pretty big to start off with. I would say that's about as big as you get.
Anything as like an inducement to do
I
a
don't know.
deal?
I just had a good relationship with him. I would love to see him if he wants to, if he even gets this message. We haven't mentioned anything, but he knows I'm going over there. If he'd like to meet, I'd love to meet him.
Sir, are you concerned about flights being halted at LAX due to shortages for air traffic controllers? Is there a way we can pay them?
Yeah, there is, but the Democrats should just do a simple extension. That's the best way. The Democrats are holding it up. They want $1.5 trillion for people that came out of prisons, for illegal aliens that come into our country. We don't want to do that because that will really hurt the health care that we have in our country. And frankly, we'd like to see better health care, period.
But even
We're not looking to do that. The Democrats can solve that problem with air traffic control. All they have to do is say, the country's open. We only need 5 votes. The Republicans are with us. We only need 5 votes. So let's see what happens. I would imagine that gets taken care of. Not only the controllers, but other people too.
how is your relationship with Elon these days? And is there
I think it's good. I mean, you saw that during Charlie's beautiful tribute. Elon came up. It's good with Elon. I like Elon. I've always liked Elon. Elon's good.
Have you talked to him since the memorial?
On and off a little bit. Yeah, very little. Nothing much. Look, he's a nice guy. And he's a very capable guy. I've always liked him. He had a bad spell. He had a bad period. He had a bad moment. It was a stupid moment in his life. Very stupid. I'm sure he'd tell you that. But I like Elon, and I suspect I'll always like him.
Sir, what are your thoughts on the continued protests outside immigration centers in Chicago?
Well, when people come into our country illegally, especially in terms of speed, the very bad ones, like murderers, because we've had murderers came in through the Biden administration. We have very tight borders now, but we had open borders. Incredibly, we had open borders. What were they thinking? But we have murders. Over 11,000 murderers came in. Many of them murdered more than one person. We want those people out. We want people that were in prisons. We want them to go back to their prison, not our prison. We want them out, and we'll get them out. Get them all out.
Do you think deportations
It was really a terrible mistake that was made. When you think of it, so much of our time is spent on that subject, and it's a big subject because it's probably 20 or 25 million people, the real number. And of the 25 million people, it's millions of people should not be here. Now, all of them shouldn't be here if they came in illegally, but we have to get the criminals out. Washington, D.C. is doing great. Memphis is starting to do great. We just started there 2 weeks ago. Any place we touch is going to do well. If I were a governor, I'd say, please get your people in, whether it's National Guard or the military. Get them in.
Is there a deadline?
And as you know, we've been winning those cases.
Is there a deadline for San Francisco to get their private
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do it, but you know, I have a lot of very important people that are really into San Francisco that are really trying to do it themselves. I said we can do it better because we have a strong group, a tough group, a group that has powers that other people don't have. Locally, you don't have the powers that the federal government has. And we can do a better job of it faster. But I listened to a few of the people, you know, Jensen, who's fantastic, from NVIDIA, as you know, and Mark he owns Time Magazine, among a lot of other things, right? He's a good man. And they would love to give it a shot. And I say, go ahead, do it. And I would have done that with Chicago, but Chicago is very far along the way. We have to do something with that. If I have a lot of friends influential in Chicago, if they call me, maybe I do the same thing, but we have to save Chicago immediately. We can do that pretty easily, but we have to get in quickly.
Can I go back to Argentina quickly?
Yeah.
What do you think the state of the fiscal situation is there now? Do you think you'll have to do another
Well, we have the all-time
deal?
expert right here. I think right now we've made a lot of money based on that election because the bonds have gone up, their whole debt rating has gone up. You know, that election made a lot of money for the United States. Now, we're not in that for money per se, but if you look at the value of the bonds, the debt, Scott, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think the great victory in this election, President Milei, I think he is going to expand his coalition, and you know they have some big refinancings next year. But the Argentinian people have spoken. President Trump, that they know that the U.S. is their ally thanks to President Trump. We're behind them, and that they're going to be able to fix their fiscal and keep on the road. He's working against 100 years of bad policies, and he's going to break them thanks to the support for the United States.
And we're helping other South American countries also, as you know.
Will they need more support, or would you consider it if they need
They
it?
might. Yeah, we would consider it, I think.
Yeah, well, look,
I think they'll be a good shape.
Yeah, we think the market's going to do it from here now that he's gotten over this. As I always said, this was a bridge. We've bridged it. Thanks to President Trump's support, he did better than anyone ever expected. The Peronists said it wasn't a fair election because we were running against Donald Trump too. And now I think the market is going to take care of itself and it's going to have a lot of confidence in his policies and the way forward.
The polls were very wrong on that election. I mean, the polls really got it wrong. That was an election they said was going to be lost, and not only was it won, but it was won by a lot. And maybe we did help. I hope we helped.
Sir, for you or Secretary Rubio, over the weekend, Israel assassinated a military official of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad movement. Does that violate the ceasefire law between Israel and Hamas, or are they treated as a separate group?
You're talking about the strike against the Palestinian Jihad individual?
Yes.
Yeah, look, Israel didn't surrender its right to self-defense. Obviously, the ceasefire is based on obligations on both sides. By the way, we'd also like to see Hamas speed up the return of hostage bodies. We still have 13 hostages, 2 Americans included. But we don't view that as a violation of the ceasefire. They have a right. There's an imminent threat to Israel, and all the mediators agree with that.
How transparent is the Trump administration? You got Scott, you got Jameson, you got Marco. We're not saying you please don't ask this question. You can ask anything you want. There's never been anything like this. Do you agree with that?
Well, I just wanted to ask a clarifying question from my earlier thing. You said 5 Fed candidates. That's Waller, Hassett, Warsh, Ryder, and Bowman, right? Reader, and Bowman. Yeah, all right, thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Whether a surprise 5th, and you added a surprise 6 occasionally with Secretary Bessent.
He likes what he's doing too. I don't think you couldn't pull him out of there no matter what. It's like Caroline. How's Caroline doing? Good? Would you say she's doing good or just okay? I think she's doing.
She's been very gracious to us.
She's doing very good.
Yes, no,
Without her, we wouldn't be here right now. She's doing great.
When do you think you'll make a decision on the Fed? Last Fed?
I'd say maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah, before Christmas, right around.
I think by the end of the year. Early next year, but by the end of the year. We want to get too late out as soon as possible.
Sir,
We want to be too early when too late.
Sir, Steve Bannon said in a recent interview that there could be plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a 3rd term in 2028. Is that something you'd be willing to challenge the court to be
Well,
able to
I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know. but I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. I mean, I just solved 8 wars and a 9th is coming. I believe Russia, Ukraine will happen. But we just did, we just left, and when you look at the treaty we just did, that was a war that was thousands of people were already shot at the border. And when you look at what we just did, was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. We got a lot of good credit, and I really have to thank Malaysia for that, because they really, the Prime Minister and everybody really helped get the 2 countries together. But it was quite a great peace treaty. But that was one of 8, and makes me feel good. I mean, it's millions of people that we saved. I saved the lives of millions of people. That's what's important. Yeah.
Who are the very good people?
They are good people. What?
You said that for 2028, they're very good people.
Who are they?
Well, we have great people. Well, I don't have to get into that, but we have one of them standing right here. We have JD, obviously. The Vice President is great. I think Marco's great. I think, I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. I really do. I believe that. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? I mean, you'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't. They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. Those are very hard, they're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests. Let AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump. I don't think Jasmine, the first couple of questions are easy, a tiger, an elephant, a giraffe, When you get up to about 5 or 6, and then when you get up to 10 and 20 and 25, they couldn't come close to answering any of those questions.
The readout from Walter Reed mentioned advanced medical imaging. Did you get an MRI? Can you tell us what that was?
I did. I got an MRI. It was perfect. Yeah.
Can you tell us
I mean,
what
I gave
for?
you the full results. We had an MRI, and in the machine, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was perfect. Yeah.
Can you say what in particular they were?
You could ask the doctors. In fact, we have doctors traveling with us, but I think they gave you a very conclusive. Nobody has ever given you reports like I gave you. And if I didn't think it was going to be good, either I would let you know negatively, I wouldn't run, I'd do something. But the doctor said some of the best reports for the age, some of the best reports they've ever seen.
One theory on how you might try to serve a 3rd term is that you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that.
Is it the White House or the White House counsel to your legal position? I
No,
guess?
you'd be allowed to
You
do
could
that, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. I think it's
You're ruling that out.
too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not. It wouldn't be right.
Sir, a golf-related question. Do you mind? Your personally the most difficult shot for you in golf.
You mean right now?
Well, yeah. How will you play it?
The most difficult shot. It used to be chipping, but I've become a very good chipper. I hit them all pretty good. I'm a pretty good golfer. I won 38 club championships. That's pretty good. I mean, pretty much I hit. I'm very solid, very consistent, pretty long. I mean, I hit the ball pretty long. I play with Gary Player. Gary's 90, and he shot 70 with me the last time we played, which is pretty amazing from 6,800.
Putting is pretty good.
Putting's pretty good, yeah. Putting's used to be. I'd say putting used to be the best, but I'd say putting is pretty good. Yeah.
Sir, can I ask just one more trade question? There were some tweaks to the Vietnam deal where they're going to have some zero tariff items that can come into the United States.
Yeah.
Why was that change made?
I don't know.
That's just there's a handful of things like coffee, etc. The type of stuff we don't make in the United States or grow, like climatologically we can't. So it makes sense if people are going to do a deal with us, we'll give them a good deal there. But overall, 20% on Vietnam.
And we want to get coffee down a little bit.
So just to clarify, technically that was stuff that was at 20 and now will be brought to 0. Is that?
Well, it's just brought to whatever congressional level of tariff there is, right? I mean, this is, we have a huge deficit with Vietnam, and So they've taken down all their tariffs to zero on everything.
All gone.
All the non-tariff barriers gone. They're going to accept all our autos, all our standards, all of that. We have 20%.
Which, by the way,
on
people
that.
said impossible to get.
They did say impossible.
They're all gone.
Yep. And so we just have a few items like that we can't grow or extract from the ground in the United States. Certain spices, right, that we don't grow in America, that kind of thing.
How worried are you still about the risk of transshipment through Vietnam from China?
So part of the deal, they've agreed to a duty evasion agreement with us, and if we catch them doing it, we can charge an additional 40%, right?
On top of the 20?
That's right, yeah. And that's an executive order that's already in place. So,
You guys have a very interesting couple of days. We have Japan, and then we have South Korea, but we have China coming, and it's going to be very interesting. I have a lot of respect for President Xi, and we are going to, I think we're going to come away with the deal, but I really feel good. Our country is doing so well economically. It's doing so incredibly well. The Democrats should let it open. I guess they don't do that because it's doing so well. It's too bad, but on the macro scale, it's not having that kind of an effect. We just want people to get paid. We think it's very unfair. And how about the man that put up $130 million to make sure our military got paid? This,
you won't tell him?
I won't tell you, but this is a person that called me that said, sir, I'd like to make a contribution of any difference needed for the United States military. I said, I don't know, that could be a big number. And we worked it out. It was about $130 million, and he wrote a check for $130 million because he's an unbelievable patriot, and that's what it's all about. So we're going to have a good time over the next 2 days. Get a little rest.
One, sir.
What is that?
I haven't been watching it too much, the World Series. No, I'm disappointed they didn't put Pete Rose in. I said, put Pete Rose in before he dies. He had over 4,000 hits. They didn't do it. And with all the gambling you see now, I mean, give me a break. They didn't put Pete Rose in. I asked the commissioner, put Pete Rose in, commissioner, long before he died. Like a year before he died. They didn't get it done. Should have gotten it done. Pete Rose was a great baseball player.
One quick one. Just, you said yesterday that you might invite China to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
When would that be?
Well, sometime after. I'm going to go. We pretty much agreed that I'll be going to China.
When is that?
In the earlier part of the year.
Okay.
And President Xi will be coming into maybe Washington or Palm Beach or someplace sometime after that.
Vietnam said that you accepted an invitation there as well. Do you plan on visiting Vietnam?
He invited me. If I can, I will. We have a good relationship with Vietnam. And they've made a lot of money with the United States over the years when presidents that really didn't know what they were doing. But now, as you know, Vietnam is not charging us tariffs. And that's a big step, and based on that, I would. That's a big move for them.
Friday, Ambassador Greer launched a 301 on whether China reneged on its Phase 1 deal. Is that part of these talks? Would you pause that? How connected is that to the Thursday talks and the talks you've
been having? It may be a part of the talk, but it may be a part of just a negotiation.
That was a separate deal from before, and there's a lot of view in the United States that they didn't keep aspects of that deal. So we're just looking into it. That's continuing, but we're really focused on.
If all works out well, I'm sure they'll be able to talk us out of it. You agree?
We'll see.
I think so.
It's up to you, sir.
I have a feeling they'll talk us out of it.
You've long said that you have a great relationship with Xi Jinping. You really get along.
Yeah.
Could you just elaborate on that? What about your relationship is so great, and what about him?
I just like him. We were obviously that was hurt pretty badly by COVID when COVID came in through Wuhan. Everybody knows that. I always said it. I said it right from the beginning. So that had an impact, but an impact for a lot of reasons. Number one, we didn't get to speak as much because we were all busy getting out of that nightmare. But no, I think I have a very good relationship, as good as anybody, and I would say that likewise with him. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Mr.